You need anything?
Yeah, I could use a few things.
What do you want? We have some ham, chicken Caesar.
How you doing?
How's it going?
Boss, man.
How you doing? We're with our charity, Aggregate Hearts. We've been going to homeless shelters and finding people on the street and feeding them if they need food.
Healthcare workers on the front lines have been working non-stop since the coronavirus pandemic began. However, one Long Island ER nurse is going the extra mile by giving back to the homeless after he himself was living on the streets.
Hi, my name is Andy Garabedian. I spent 3 years on the street. I was homeless in the early 2000s. During the height of the coronavirus pandemic, I was working as an emergency room nurse at Long Island Jewish Valley Stream. Having personal experience of living on the streets, I felt that there was a need to help the homeless, especially after a visit to New York City at the end of April, at the height of the pandemic. You hungry?
You want a sandwich?
I'll take some, man.
Had a high school Marine Corps, was medically discharged, came home, wasn't exactly in a friendly relationship with my family. I had a falling out with my family, and I thought it would be better for me to be in New York closer to my friends than it would be, you know, trying to figure stuff out somewhere else. But it became too much for me, just a weight on me. I opted to be homeless rather than a burden on my friends and their family. Down here?
This says vacant though. Is there someone here? Andy's story made me realize, too, I think sometimes we stereotype people and judge them, but it can happen to really anybody, just the right set of circumstances. So it's really nice to feel like even just like one or two people, we've been able to make a really big difference.
We wound up jumping in the car and drove to the city, and there was nobody on the streets. I mean, we saw a couple of police officers, and then all of a sudden as we drove down 7th Avenue, you started to see pockets of people, and these pockets of people were homeless. I'd asked them, I said, what do you guys do for food? And they're like, well, there's not much. We can't really pick through the garbage. There's not any food because there's no people. And I was like, well, what about the shelters? And they said, well, they're at a third of the capacity. I was like, what about soup kitchens or food? And they're like, they're not operating right now. And this was in April. And I was like, so what do you guys do for food? And they're like, pray. And I'm like, what do you do on the streets? Like, what do you do to survive? And like almost every single one of them, without batting an eyelash, said the same response, and it's try not to die. I've been there, and sometimes you need that spark. You need the light inside of the darkness, and mine came in the form of a priest, which was probably at the lowest point of my entire life. And you never know, like these people might, something like a meal, could be something simple, but you answer that prayer. You like chicken or you like ham?
I like chicken and ham.
Okay.
I mean, I think they're overlooked always. Somebody once asked me what was the worst thing about being homeless. It wasn't about being cold or hungry or on the streets. It's just that nobody knows you're gone.
Thank y'all so much. God bless y'all.
You're very welcome. God bless you as well.